Hey, what is up guys, it is Smike here, and today I'm going to be showing you my top 10 ideas for Five Nights at Freddy's 3, so let's do this. So up at number 10 is one that many people suggested, and that is to have a super sort of Frankenstein animatronic that is like a mix between many animatronics, and maybe he could have like different animatronic masks, and every time he puts on like one mask, he assumes the identity and behavior of that particular animatronic. And I think this idea would work well if Scott decided to only put one enemy in the game. That way, even though it would only be one enemy, that one enemy would stay fresh, and he wouldn't just have, the same exact behavior all the time. And now for number 9 is to have the purple guy as one of the enemies. This idea is by Reddit user Mr. Jadama, and you know what? I like it. I think it would add some variety to the game. Maybe since he's not an animatronic, he could be smarter, and try and avoid the cameras. And also since, just like Hugh, he's a human, maybe the animatronic's gonna want to kill him, so he's gonna want to avoid them as well. So that even if there's no animatronics around you, you're still gonna have to be careful because the purple guy might be there. And like the only way to know that he's nearby is to listen for footsteps or something. That way it forces the player to listen very closely. And now for idea number 8, it's from Reddit user Critically Red. So the random endoskeleton that appears in the second game? Well, wouldn't it be cool to have an endoskeleton enemy appear in the third game, but this time instead of doing nothing, he would attack you. But since he's a bare endoskeleton and not an actual animatronic in the suit, the way he would attack you would be opposite to the other animatronics. So, normally to avoid an animatronic, you would have to put on the Freddy mask, because otherwise, they think you're an endoskeleton and so they have to stuff you into a Freddy Fazbear suit. But this time, maybe it would be the opposite. If the endoskeleton sees you, you would have to take off the Freddy mask, because then the endoskeleton will think that you're an empty costume and try and shove itself into you. Wait, what the fuck? And after number 7, it would be pretty damn cool in my opinion if the game supported Oculus Rift. I mean, come on, you gotta admit, this is like the perfect game for Oculus VR. You're sitting in a chair looking around, looking at cameras. I mean, to be honest, in my mind, it would go perfectly together. And I know that Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2 have sort of mods for VR, but they're not very good. I mean, come on, you gotta admit, there's no way you can make a really enjoyable VR experience in Five Nights at Freddy's unless it's native. Because otherwise, it's just way too clunky and it has to actually be designed and programmed for VR, in my opinion. And now for idea number 6 comes from Reddit user DarealGVSH. And his idea is that maybe it would be cool to actually have the cameras inside the animatronics. So instead of switching between different cameras on the walls, you could switch between different animatronics, and then you would have to sort of figure out in what room they're in, based on what you see from their perspective. I think that would be so cool and also so scary. I mean, imagine that you are, switching between the cameras and then thinking, wait, he's somewhere familiar, and then realizing that he's actually in the office. Imagine the panic. And now idea number 5 comes from Reddit user Yoshimedi. His idea is a pretty good one in my opinion, and that is to have, instead of just, 2 doors on your left and right, to have closable doors all over the restaurant, and you would have to close them and open them to modify the path of the different animatronics. And what I really like about this idea is that it would force you to use the cameras more, because as of right now the cameras don't have all that much use. In the first game everyone just keeps looking at Foxy's Pirate Cove, and in the second game everyone's just looking at the prize corner. But anyway, whether Scott takes this idea or not, it would be really nice if in the third game the cameras would be much more useful. And now for number 4, this idea comes from Reddit user Vensamape, and it's a very simple one, and that's just to make the space you are in smaller. You know how in the second game the office is fairly big and roomy? Well, I think in the first game it was much better, because the office was much smaller, much more claustrophobic, and I think in the third game Scott should probably go towards something more like that, because that feeling of claustrophobia, makes it really much more scary in my opinion. And now for number 3 is a very simple idea once again, and this one comes from Reddit user BooFoodDine43, and that is simply to remove the HUD from the screen and to put it into the environment. So for example, instead of having time appear as a number on your screen, it could appear in the form of a digital clock on your desk. And also, instead of showing the remaining power on your screen, it could maybe show the remaining power on the monitor somewhere, or maybe when you pull up the camera on the camera HUD. I don't know, I really like this idea, and also this would fit so well with Oculus VR. Plus, it's so easy to do and would increase the immersion by so much. And now for idea number 2 is one that was come up by Reddit user Pure Integrity. and he suggested that maybe there should be some kind of a survival mode, like a mode where the goal is to survive as long as possible, and so you'd have to save as much power as possible and try and last as long as possible without dying. And so the more calm and controlled you can stay and the more you can manage your power well, the better your score will be. I really like it. And now finally for idea number 1 was suggested by Reddit user MathWiz100, and that is to simply have a door behind you. Oh my god, that is so freaking scary. Can you imagine that? Having to actually look all the way around. It would make the game at least like 3 times scarier. Jeez. And also not to mention, if Scott decides to, include Oculus VR support, this would work so well with Oculus VR. And also, I just thought about it and I realized, why would he even have a door behind him? That would be more of a hallway, But then in that case, it could be something else, like a hole in the wall or a window, or I don't know. Scott would have to come up with something that fits the game and fits the environment, Hey there, thanks for watching my video. As usual, if you want to see more videos from me, why not subscribe? And I promise you, you'll not regret it. And otherwise, if you are already subscribed, just thank you so much for being active and just being there. Because I know a lot of YouTubers have a lot of subscribers, but not that many can say that their subscribers are as active as this channel and this community. So yeah, just thank you for being there and watching my videos every single day. So stay active and stay awesome. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.